Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I am sharing a story that is going to grab you by the heart and not let go. It's a tale of love, betrayal, and finding strength when your world crumbles. If you've ever felt like your trust was shattered, this one's for you. It all started on a rainy afternoon. The sound of drops hitting the porch seemed to echo the tightness in my chest. My wedding dress hung on the door, a symbol of the future I was meticulously planning with Antonio, the man I thought I'd waited for my whole life. My sister, Helena, was my rock through it all, always smiling, always helping. We grew up sharing everything, dreams, clothes, secrets. But lately, something was off with her. She was quieter, distracted, especially when Antonio's name came up. I told myself it was just wedding stress, that I was imagining things. How could I ever suspect my own sister and the man I loved? It felt almost wrong to even think it. So, I swallowed my doubts and kept planning, trying to silence those nagging whispers that returned in the quietest hours. Then, the night before our engagement party, Helena arrived home in a new dress, smelling of a perfume I didn't recognize. She hugged me, said she was so happy, and that Antonio seemed like a man who could make any woman happy. I smiled awkwardly, but a strange chill ran down my spine. Something felt profoundly wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw flashes of scenes that felt like painful memories I hadn't lived. The next day, I tried to push it all away. It was my day, after all. The hall was beautiful, fragrant with flowers, full of cheerful guests. Helena arrived later, with a strange glow in her eyes, and when Antonio saw her, he smiled in a way that made me shiver. A cold wave washed over me, but I swallowed hard and pretended everything was fine. Little did I know, this beautiful dream was about to become my worst nightmare. The engagement party was exactly as I'd pictured. Soft music, laughter, family, but I couldn't relax. Antonio was distant, and Helena kept glancing at her phone, anxious. Whenever our eyes met, her smile felt forced. I clung to my bouquet, telling myself it was just nerves. At one point, I needed air and stepped into the garden. The breeze was cool, and the sounds of the party faded. That's when I heard voices from the side of the house, too low for an ordinary conversation. I crept closer and recognized Helena's trembling voice. "This can't go on, Antonio. She'll find out." My heart pounded. I thought I misheard. "But then," he replied, in that familiar voice, "after the engagement, we'll figure it out. I promise." My legs gave way. The ground opened beneath me. I stumbled back inside, my hands shaking, heart pounding. Their words echoed like a hammer. Everyone was smiling, oblivious. My dream was collapsing. I took a deep breath, fighting tears, and looked at the sparkling ring on my finger. Suddenly, it felt like a mockery. I wanted to scream, to run, to end it all right there. But something deep inside told me to wait, to let the truth explode at the right moment. That moment arrived when everyone gathered for the toast. Antonio raised his glass, looked at me with that smile that used to charm me. That's when I made my decision. I stood up. My voice was steady, despite the pain. "Before we raise our glasses, there's something everyone needs to know." The room went silent. Helena went pale. Antonio froze. I continued, meeting every gaze. Love is beautiful, but only when it's real. When it's lived through lies, it becomes poison. With every word, I felt the weight of what I was doing, and without hesitation, I revealed what I had heard. Laughter and chatter vanished. Silence sliced through the air. The truth was out. Nothing would ever be the same. No one moved. Helena tried to speak, but no sound came out. Antonio, pale, lowered his head. My mother stood up, embarrassed. "Daughter, please, not here. This isn't the time," she pleaded. That's when I understood. They saw a scandal where I saw justice. Calmly, firmly, I replied, "If not now, then when? After I marry the man who betrayed me with my own sister?" Whispers erupted. Helena began to cry, calling it a mistake. Antonio stepped toward me, saying he loved me, that it was a misunderstanding. I took a step back. "Don't come near me," I said firmly. "You had a choice, and you chose the worst way to lose me." In that moment, I realized I wouldn't be diminished. I wouldn't bow my head. With my heart burning, I took off the ring and placed it on the table. No one stopped me from leaving. As the cold wind hit my face, I cried without shame. For love, for disappointment, and for freedom. That night, I couldn't sleep. I thought about Helena, my childhood companion, and how love became betrayal. I thought about Antonio and his cowardice, and I thought about myself, the woman who endured in silence. But I wasn't that woman anymore. When the sun rose, I decided this story wouldn't define me. I would start over. Little did I know, fate had one last twist. The next morning, my phone rang. It was my mother, sobbing. "Helena. She had an accident. She's in the hospital." My heart pounded. Despite everything, she was my sister. At the hospital, Helena was unconscious. She'd had a nervous breakdown and crashed her car. I sat beside her, seeing her pale, fragile face. I remembered us as little girls. Tears filled my eyes. "You hurt me, Helena," I whispered, "but I don't want to lose you." Days passed. I prayed for her. Antonio tried to reach me, but I ignored him. There was no room for him. I had to rebuild myself, not for revenge, but for peace. Eventually, Helena opened her eyes. When she saw me, she cried, "Forgive me." I took her hand. In that moment, I realized forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It frees the heart. Time went by. Helena moved away to find herself. I went back to work, picked up abandoned plans, and discovered a strength I never knew I had. One afternoon, at a small cafe, I met someone, a kind, simple man with a gentle smile. He didn't promise me the world. He just reached out his hand and stayed. For the first time, I felt true peace. I understood then. The deepest pain I had ever lived brought me to the best chapter of my life. Because sometimes, God lets the truth destroy what was false, so there's room for what is real. Wow. What a journey, right? This story truly